And I'm going to start it right now.
Okay, good clap. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we take whatever band or artist we're doing, we listen to all of their albums and we rank them from worst to best, and we also give our biggest banger from each of them. My name is Tyler. Oh, and before we do that, we do our 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge. If you don't know what that is, look up the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Same idea, but between Tom DeLonge and the artist of the week. My name is Tyler. Way out there, hundreds of miles away, way out there in the ether. He's Jeff. Go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. Leave us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts because that is very important. Go do that, please. If you want to give us a call, leave us a voicemail, send us a text. The phone number is 503-893-5307. We also have a Discord server if you want to hang out with us and other people who listen to the pod and just, fucking make fun of us. Let us know. We'll send you the link and join the Discord. So, Jeff, let's just get right into the 6 degrees with Tom DeLonge. I don't know how many you have. I have 1. So let's go.
I have 3. I almost had 4,
Woo!
but one I could not do it.
Did you try with each different band member each time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this was a hard one this week. This was really hard.
Oh,
Like it was hard not to do Lou Reed.
Lou Reed was the easiest one that I did.
Yeah.
But also my favorite.
Okay.
Because
Interesting.
whatever. Yeah. So I guess
got?
I'll start because I have 3 and you have 1 because you're pitiful.
Also, you didn't have any last week, but that's fine. Keep it up.
That's true. On average, I still have more because you had 1
No, you
last
don't.
week.
Bullshit.
You had 1 last week and you had 1 this week.
Okay.
That's 2. I have 3 today. 3 is bigger than 2.
Well, I thought you were going to say overall. I didn't know you were
Unless we're
gonna
playing
say
golf. We're
this week
playing
and last
golf
week.
because
That's
then
fine.
I would lose.
But you're also not
3 is
listening to me
actually
right now.
less
You're
than
just
2
talking. You
because
just keep
it's more
talking. I don't know where you're
strokes.
talking. You just need to, what are your 6 degrees?
So my first one is Doug Yule.
Uh-huh.
You'll shoot your eye out. Doug Yule was featured on Elliot Murphy's 3rd album.
The hell's that?
Elliot Murphy's this guy. I only know about him even before this because Sloan, friend of the pod, Sloan likes this guy, and I thought he would be cool. He's like a rocker from like this kind of same era of like 70s, and he played it for me. And he was like the most boring fucking rock I've ever heard in my life. So, yeah, Doug Yule was featured on Elliot Murphy's 3rd album. Elliot Murphy's 4th album features Phil Collins.
Oh.
Don't forget that Phil Collins did his magnum opus, the best thing he's ever done in 1999 for the Tarzan soundtrack.
No, dude, no.
Which was produced by Rob Cavallo. Rob also played the acoustic guitar in that song. As if people know Rob Cavallo, he did the best parts of all Green Day albums. Correct. To Tom. Because they toured together and stuff. But yeah.
Pop
that's
Disaster.
that's Phil Collins' best song he's ever done. Hands down.
Oh my God,
Easy.
dude.
Easy.
You're so dumb. You're so
It's
dumb.
fact. It's fact.
What a pull. What a pull. So you want me to say mine or you want to go with your second one?
I got 2 more. What you want me to do?
Let's go with your second one. What do you got? What do you got for the second one?
So I'm going to say Lou Reed for last. Not because I liked Lou Reed the most, whatever. It's just who I found out about. So my second one is Mo, the drummer. She had a lot of solo albums that I'm super, super interested in because of who was on them. Victor De Lorenzo, Brian Ritchie, the guys from the Violent Femmes were on like a lot of her solo albums. So Mo to Victor De Lorenzo. Victor De Lorenzo was in the Violent Femmes with Gordon Gano, who's the singer, main songwriter. Mm-hmm. Gordon Gano was in The Adventures of Pete and Pete. Huh?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
The singer?
Yes, the singer was in The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Who did you know what character?
I did, but I didn't write it down. It was a one-off episode, and I guess this character on Pete and Pete changes all the time.
I don't know.
Can't remember
I'd have
what
to
it
think
was.
about it. I'd have to think about it.
But also Juliana Hatfield, who played the lunch lady. I don't know why I wrote her down, but I didn't write Gordon Gano. That makes sense. She was also in Pete and Pete, and she had her own band, as you may or may not know, and featured on bass was Mikey Welsh from Weezer, formerly of Weezer. Josh Freese also played drums on a bunch of her solo albums too, but we've done him a lot. We've done Mikey Welsh a lot too. But Mikey Welsh played bass for Weezer, but also contributed to the Special Goodness, which was a side project of Weezer. And at points in the Special Goodness' career, Adam Willard played drums for many years.
Correct.
Adam to Tom.
Adam to Tom. There you go. That's a good one. I like that one a lot. That's a really good one. Bringing up the Adventures of Pete and Pete.
I knew that would get you.
That gets me every time. One of the greatest shows ever. I love that fucking show. It's aged so well. That show's so good.
I cannot believe. As I'm talking, I'm gonna look it up and then tell you who he played. But I cannot believe that Pete and Pete had so many guest celebrities.
Yeah, Iggy Pop was Michelle Trachtenberg's character's dad, and he was on probably like maybe 6 or 7 episodes. Yeah, he had a recurring role. So
Gordon
that was like
Gano,
the big one.
He played Mr. Zank, the first of many substitute math teachers.
I'd have to see the episode to remember that.
I guess there was a revolving door of substitute math teachers, and that's
I guess so.
That's where that came in.
Okay, I like it. I mean, that whole show was based around like indie rock music too. Everything about that show was indie rock. The way it looked, the music that they played all the time was all that genre of music, so it makes sense.
Dude, even here's some of the notable people too that I remember now. LL Cool J was in it. John McLaughlin was in it. Alicia Keys was in it. And Debbie Harry. Like what the fuck?
Not in the Adventures of Pete and Pete.
All these people were in it. Yes.
Alicia Keys?
They were all guest stars at some point. Yes.
Really?
Alicia Keys played a student.
She must have been like a background. Yeah, probably like a background character or something, or an extra. Shit, that's wild.
It is.
That's really wild. Wow.
I really want to go watch this show.
Steve Buscemi was in an episode too.
That brings me to my next one.
Okay. All right. What do you got?
Well, do you want to do yours?
Oh, yeah.
My third one.
I'll
do my third one. Your third one.
Yeah, go through because we're already on a roll. So what do you got for your third one?
My third one. This one was exciting for me. So I'm gonna start with Lou Reed. Lou Reed's 19th album has Steve Buscemi as a guest, who also was in Pete and Pete. Steve Buscemi is apparently like a big Beastie Boys fan and was in their video for "Make Some Noise." One of their, I think it was on. Hot Sauce Committee.
Hot Sauce, yeah, that was a good video too.
Also in that video was Jason Schwartzman. Jason Schwartzman was in the movie Slackers. He played Ethan, Weird Ethan, alongside Devin Sawa. As we know, Devin was in a movie called Idle Hands, alongside Mr. Tom DeLonge.
Mr. Tom DeLonge. That's a good one too. Shit,
but here's what got me. Steve Buscemi is fucking cool. He is so rad. His life story is amazing. He was a firefighter and then left the firefighting business after several years, almost a decade of firefighting, to be an actor, in New York City. And then whenever a fire station would close down in his old area that he would work, he would go to protest. And he's been arrested because he's Steve Buscemi, but if he wasn't Steve Buscemi, he would have been arrested for protesting the closing down of fire stations.
What city was he from? Where's he from?
From New York City. One of the, I think, Brooklyn.
Shit, okay.
So,
damn.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It's just really cool. He's a lot deeper than I had ever imagined Steve Buscemi being. And he's the son of a Korean War vet. And I don't know, man. I was,
yeah, I had no idea. I didn't know. I've never thought about looking up Steve Buscemi.
Because he's always weird. He plays the weirdo.
Yeah, you're right. It's true.
But yeah, he's been in a part of many. Oh, and then after 9/11, the day after 9/11, he showed up to his old fire station, geared up, and then was out there for days and days looking for people and debris and helping whatever he could.
Wow, that's wild. That's so cool though.
But he was pulling 15-hour shifts the day after 9/11, after not even being a firefighter for so long.
Yeah,
hey, I'm
that's
here to help.
tough. Wow.
Crazy. Love this guy.
That's wild. That's so cool. That's so damn cool.
Yeah, much respect for Steve Buscemi. Not that I didn't have any respect for him, but I had no idea he was this interesting and this cool.
Yeah, same here. I mean, obviously seen him in a lot of cool stuff, but yeah, that's really interesting. Very interesting. Shit. All right. So mine aren't nearly as exciting. So we'll start with Lou Reed because it's easy. Lou Reed to Metallica because they did that Lulu record together. Fucking terrible record. Did you listen to it?
No, we talk about this a lot, and you told me not to at the time. And then
But you said you were going to.
no. But then actually, when we decided on this, I asked you if I should listen to it, and you said no again.
Yeah, but I thought you said you were still going to listen to it.
Well, you thought wrong.
Okay, I did.
Which is
So
often.
yeah, they no, it's never no, I'm never wrong. So yeah, they did that terrible record Lulu. Rob Trujillo is in Metallica. He plays the bass player. Rob was also the bass player in Suicidal Tendencies prior to Metallica. Brooks Wackerman was also the drummer for Suicidal, and Brooks was the drummer who played on Tom DeLonge's solo record. So, but there you go. That was probably one of the more simple ones, but it was hard to do. I like I said, it was hard to make any connection between any of the other band members. But whatever, you did it. I'm proud of you.
The only one I couldn't do, and I can't even think of the other dude's name, the other guitarist.
Doug Yule or John Cale
No.
or
Well,
Morrison.
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 Morrison. Because he did nothing outside of just normal Velvet Underground side project stuff, and I didn't want to use
True.
that. Like he didn't
But
do
he also-
anything.
He also died like in the mid 90s, right? So
Yeah, he died really young.
yeah, so he didn't have there wasn't a lot of like modern bands he could have worked with. So okay, so now we're done with the 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge. Let's just get into the rankings. What do you got, Jeff, for the worst Velvet Underground record and your BB, your biggest banger from it? What do you got? Go.
This is not a bad album. It's not.
Okay.
This is my least favorite. This is the most hated. So if that's any indication, but it's not a bad album. Squeeze, their last album, 1973. It's so hated by fans, and it's just because it's a Doug Yule solo project. There's no OG members in there, and because it's so vastly different from their first three, but it's still closer to their fourth album. But it's just a Doug Yule solo album. If it would have just marketed as that, if it was released as that, then people would like it because it's not a bad album. It's full of songs that are pretty good. And my favorite song is Little Jack, the opening track. It's got some serious Grateful Dead vibes to it. And there's several songs on here that are very, very reminiscent of that scene, of that sound. And I loved that track. Loved it. I for sure would pick this up if I saw it on the vinyls for a reasonable amount.
Is it expensive or what?
I've never seen this, but I've never seen any of these outside of their first album, New.
Okay.
Like I just don't come across Velvet Underground outside of like new albums, mostly their first album ever.
Okay. And you refuse to buy new, so
Yeah.
So how many Velvet Underground records do you have on vinyl?
I have 3.
Okay. I have 0.
Well, that was fun.
Oh God! But you would definitely get this one on vinyl.
I do.
The
I
Squeeze
like this
record?
one.
Okay.
I would get
Yeah.
this one more than my next one, but I already have the next one, so that's a moot
okay.
point.
Okay.
But I like this album.
Your biggest banger is Little Jack.
Yeah, the first track. It sounds exactly like the Grateful Dead. I'm telling you.
Does it? I mean, I'm not super familiar with the Dead, but Little Jack was a good song. That one did stand out to me on that record. So, not my favorite on that record, but
Okay.
it did stand out for sure. But-
Okay.
So that's what you got for number 5 is Squeeze, their 5th record.
Squeeze.
Okay, so my number 5. So this is
Oh boy, here we
this
go.
is the first time I've really ever heard the Velvet. I almost said the Grateful Dead, the Velvet Underground. So with that being said, my number 5 is the Velvet Underground and Nico. their first record.
You're such a cuck, dude. There's no way. Then you hate this band. You do.
I did not like this record. This was like when I was listening to it, I was thinking the same thing. I felt the same way I felt about Against Me. I don't get it. I don't know why people like this band. I don't understand it. Lou Reed's vocals are just so, they're just obnoxious, and musically I just thought it was whatever. It didn't sound good to me. I didn't like it. And I know it's not because of the Andy Warhol thing, because I don't like Andy Warhol at all. It's not because of that necessarily, but it's just overall it's just not very good. And I feel like feel like Andy Warhol pressured them into doing a style that they necessarily didn't want to do, but they felt obligated to do it because he was giving them the opportunity of playing his art shows and shit like that. I feel like that's the only reason why this record sounds the way that it does. Bad. Yeah, I just don't like this record. I think it's a bad record. I don't get it at all.
Yeah, you clearly don't get it.
I listened to it and I thought,
for sure,
what have I got myself into this week? Like, this is gonna suck. Like, welcome to the suck, Tyler. Like, this is wow. I don't know, man. I have nothing more to say. It was just I have no banger off this one. I didn't like it.
That's fucking nuts, dude. You're that's cool though. Like the Velvet Underground would like that. They would like that kind of like inner punker in you to pretend like he doesn't like something that's popular. They would appreciate that. So you're doing,
dude. I like stupid. I like stupid weird shit.
No,
I like stupid and weird shit.
I'm complimenting you. I'm complimenting you.
No, it's like a backhanded compliment.
No,
that's
I'm
what it
saying
is.
that it's cool.
It is. You know what you're doing,
dude. Lou
you
Reed
know what you're doing.
John Cale would be impressed at your ability to
John Cale
to no matter what like things because it's popular. That's cool. That's cool.
Man, you're saying some dumb things.
Stick to your
right
guns.
now.
Stick to your guns.
Saying some dumb things. So
yeah, saying that's the worst album is saying some dumb things.
It is their worst album. Like, people have been duped through and through. People have been duped.
100% inaccurate, but okay.
It's true. So that's my number 5. No bangers off of their first record, their debut record.
The only fucking banger is like the sound of your head hitting the ground when you fell down to rank that as your number 5. That's the only banger that happened.
I don't give a fuck.
Their number 4, also their 4th album, is Loaded. Okay. Loaded. Right. And again, this isn't a bad album by any extent. I had this one on the vinyls. I only have the disc though. I don't have a jacket. This was inserted into another Velvet Underground record, so I got like a twofer on this one, which was really cool. But nice. It's an album that if it was done by like a rock band would have been cool. It's not quite up to par with what they've been doing. What we've heard from the Velvet Underground prior to this. It's not unique enough. The song melodies are there. The feeling is there. It's just kind of lost in its like commercialization. They finally did a record. I mean, the album title Loaded was supposed to be loaded with bangers for the record label because that's what the record label wanted.
Yeah.
And they kind of did it. They kind of made an album for their record label. It lost a lot of, I mean, love or hate their first album, second album, third album. There's a lot of personality to it. There's a lot of uniqueness to them. Loaded didn't have almost any of that. But it was still good. Like they're still decent songwriters, and there's still some really good songs on here. Oh Sweet Nothing, the closing track, like it's a full band.
I remember that.
It's a bang of a rock song. It's got Doug as lead vocals, and like he definitely has that 70s rocker style singing to him. But like the melody is so damn cool, and it really like lets itself play out naturally, which is something they do a lot. They let the songs just naturally die rather than end it for whatever reason. And so that's my number 4, Loaded. I like it.
It's good. I'm glad.
I dig.
So my number 4 from the Velvet Underground is their second record, White Light, White Heat.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
You're fucking nuts. You're such a cuck. You're a commercial cuck. That's what you are.
That's fine.
You're a fucking corporate shill.
Fine. That's fine.
You're telling me Squeeze and Loaded are in your top 3.
Yes, correct.
You're a fucking corporate shill. You've sold out entirely. Wow.
Whatever. I
take it all back. You're exactly what this band hates. Everything about you. Wow.
I love it. But yeah, no, White Light, White Heat. This is I barely got through this one. And the only reason I barely got through this one was because I was just so burnt out from the first record, and I shouldn't have put this one on, right after the other. It's just yeah, it's heavier. It's like more.
It's way
I don't
heavier. It's way more
I wouldn't say
aggressive.
avant-garde, but it is a little bit more than the first one. But it's just, it's so far up its own ass, just like the first record, man.
It's not.
I don't.
That's what this
it
band
is,
is
though.
not.
It is,
This band
especially,
is not. It's
especially reading
more.
more about John Cale. Like he seems like a cool dude, and I understand like he is a great musician, but damn, dude, just being different for the sake of being different is just so obnoxious sometimes. And
That's exactly what all your rankings are. It's just different for the sake of being different.
no,
That's
I'm just calling
exactly
out
what you're doing.
I'm just calling out, subpar records, and
I
the first two
guess it
Velvet
takes one
Underground
to know
records
one.
are
I don't
subpar.
know. That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, man. I don't have a banger off this one either. I don't really care for Lou Reed's vocal stylings on these first two records. Like it's like Bob Dylan, but not as whiny. And it's like it's spoken word at points, but it's kind of an annoying spoken word. I don't know. Some of the songs are too long. It's just it's gross. It's gross.
I am fucking so surprised. I've not been as surprised by your horrible rankings maybe ever. I really think that you missed the boat on this one. I really think you missed the boat on this one.
I'm glad we didn't do the first record or the second record.
I really think like there was a joke and everybody got it except for you. Like you were clearly left behind.
No, I got the joke. That the first two records are bad.
You did not. Like you
guys
were
all
left
missed out on
behind.
the joke.
Yeah.
No, you guys all missed out on the joke. When you read about it, Lou Reed didn't even want to do these first two records. He wanted to go for a more accessible sound. It was all like shit that fucking John Cale and Andy Warhol urged him to do. And then that's why he fucking fired John Cale. And then not only that, he fired John Cale, but he did it in like the most pussy manner. Like
that's also how he left. Like the Velvet Underground was.
Oh,
he
yeah,
told
I know,
somebody
yeah.
else and then didn't show up for the last practice or the last set that they did. But I mean, so my because we'll get an Andy Warhol, I guess, either now or on the main episode. But my number 3 is their first Velvet Underground and Nico. This is a good album.
At least it's low. At least it's this low.
It's not full of itself. As it's really not. If you think of what happened with this band, how they were marketed, everything that went on, it's not really that full of itself. And as much as I don't like Andy Warhol, it's mostly because, for one, I just don't understand art in the realm of outside like music and tangible things, I guess, like paintings and abstract ideas. I don't understand it. Therefore, it bores me. And Andy Warhol just like personifies that aspect of art that I don't like. His paintings, I think, like the Marilyn Monroe one, the Campbell Soup thing, they're fucking stupid. But that's not to say that other people can't enjoy them. Whatever. I don't care. I just don't get it. I think it's dumb. Nico wasn't as big of a part of this album as I thought she was going to be. And I thought she was going to be like the main singer, but she's on like 3 songs. It's not even a big deal.
Yeah.
And
I don't know why she's even billed on the title.
It's because Andy Warhol really wanted her on there because she was in like a movie.
Course.
But like this band owes Andy Warhol was like the best and worst thing for this band. Because he was already kind of established, so he had kind of like people that he could introduce them to. His blending of like art and music was just unmatched. Like nobody had done that before, and like that's cool. That's something to be said for people that like both, that want to blend a lot of different artistic endeavors together. I respect that. Again, I don't get it. I don't care for it. I think it's dumb as fuck, but that was good for the band. That's what the band needed. What was bad for the band was that he was their manager, and he was a shit manager because this band, I guess I'll just get into it now because I'm already irritated because your rankings are fucking terrible. This band was not up its own ass because this band barely was a band. This band got shit reviews. The label shit all over this band, lagged on their first album for almost a year because there were like copyright issues and shit. There was no. Easy Tiger. And don't forget, 45 singles that were like a big part of the music industry started to die once well-crafted albums started coming out. And that didn't happen until like the late 60s. So when they signed to Verve Records, Verve didn't know what to do with them. Are they a folk band? Are they they didn't know how to classify them because there wasn't a classification for this band. And
True.
their first singles were supposed to come out in 1966, and they did kind of get like 45 releases, but the label never went full frontal on it. They released like a handful of them to various people. And if you look at like even Discogs now, there's like barely any, and they're worth like $500-$600 because there's only a handful of them made, and only a handful of those 45s, those first singles from 1966 even survived. Yeah. And then as far as like marketing goes, the only time this band was even like marketed was in like publications because they were fucking weird. And yeah, like the album that came out with Nico is more polished than what they had anticipated. And so it's a little bit more commercialized, but they have a song called fucking Heroin. Don't forget the Beatles, like Sgt. Pepper's came out in 67 also, and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds was banned on radios and everywhere because it semi-resembled LSD. They had a song called fucking Heroin. All of the taboo stuff that was, and all the unheard of stuff that this band was doing at the time, all of the sexual innuendos, all of the things that society did not want them to do, they were doing when nobody else was doing it. And that's just subject material. As far as like sound goes, the only other band that came out in this era that even kind of pushed the envelope of what the psychedelic era of the late 60s was going in and the folk was the Mothers of Invention. Their first album came out in 66. Ironically, it was also produced by Tom Wilson, who produced this album and a lot of Bob Dylan stuff.
Okay.
But if you listen to their first album, which I think is a killer album by Mothers of Invention because it's very psychedelic sounding, it's very rock and roll focused. Yes, it's experimental rock, but the subject matter they were dealing with was more like fighting the power, more like Public Enemy status, more like our education system sucks, the government sucks. Whereas the Velvet Underground were dealing with things like drug addiction, like sexual deviancy,
not deviancy.
The Velvet Underground was so commercially underwhelming almost until like 1970, 1971. They were like almost a complete flop. Like they were just a trash band. And a lot of that has to do with Andy Warhol. He's not a rock and roll manager. Like you get some of these guys like Zeppelin's manager who was cutthroat, who would literally fucking choke people if he didn't get a record deal. Andy Warhol was an artist. He was a beatnik. He was reserved. He was calm. He was good for the band because he let the band do whatever they wanted. He was like a Steve Albini. He said, this is your band. You guys do what you want. But as far as being like a manager and marketing the band, he did a terrible job, as did Verve, because Mothers of Invention also was on Verve Records. Yeah. And so Verve Records thought like Mothers of Invention, they're a fucking weird band because they are kind of weird. They're not also traditional like Sgt. Pepper's. But Verve was a subsidiary of MGM, so Verve didn't know what to do with the Velvet Underground. The Velvet Underground was in a losing battle for sure for the first like 5 years of their career. So to call them like up their own ass, no, not at all.
You could still be up your own ass and be unsuccessful.
No, because they hated all of it. They made bad decision after bad decision. They were all addicted to drugs. They had horrible time. There was always infighting. Everything about the band, all they wanted to do was just play music. But they kind of got like, a little glimmer of hope with Andy Warhol. He can make us a little bit bigger. And like their first drummer bailed out. He's like, nah, their first paying gig, I'm out.
Dude, that
I'm
guy
done.
made me so mad.
That's like that would be like the of the fucking band for sure.
That is completely untrue. That was like the most irritating thing about, when I was reading about this fucking band was that their first and then their first drummer wanted to come back.
Yeah. And Lou Reed's like, no, fuck you. You can play with us, but you are in no way a member of this band. And then also in 1966, the only way the Velvet Underground could even get kind of publication is in magazines. But what happened in 1966 that was the front page of all magazines, and especially in the U.S., was John Lennon's "Bigger Than Jesus" quote. And the Beatles were established. You can't compete with the Beatles at this point. That's fine. That's fair. But when John Lennon said that in 66 and the Velvet Underground are trying to make a name for themselves, there's no way. This band was in a losing battle from the start. And they are 100% not up their own ass because their songs don't reflect that. Their songs are melancholy, they're chaotic, they're crazy. Just because they were the first ones to do a lot of it doesn't mean they're up their own ass. It just means they wanted to play music the way they wanted to play it. They don't want to be a psychedelic band. They don't want to be a folk band. They wanted to be it all. They wanted to have the art world reflect into their music. They were 100% not up their own ass. And I thought that they were. I did. I came into this thinking that they were up their own ass. But then I got some of their stuff on the vinyls and I finally listened to them before I sold them because I was going to sell three of the albums that I had for like $250 and I passed.
Oof.
I dug them. I dug them so much. But anyway.
Okay, I mean, we'll get more into this. I mean, because this guy pretty passionate, and this is something that should have been reserved for the main episode. But I'm sure we'll go at it again because there's a lot to go at. So
Velvet, like the one with Nico, their first album, that's my third favorite.
That's 3B.
Yeah, dude, Lou Reed on this album specifically definitely sounds like Bob Dylan for sure.
Yeah,
but
I even text you that too when I was listening to it.
Yeah. But I mean, again, like don't forget, like Tom Wilson produced a lot of Bob Dylan stuff. He produced this. He produced the first Mothers album. Like he was in this scene, so that's interesting, cool. And it makes sense too. But my favorite song was Black Angel of Death. That's like I got a thing for these spoken word kind of shit and this overly dramatic, scary soundscapes. This one's cool because it's a nice blend of spoken word and singing, and I like it. And what may seem like now is a group that's up their own ass, like, oh, they're so full of it, they're so conceited. This is their first album that they came out with. Like, you can't be up your own ass because there was no genre for this. And they didn't make a bunch of money off of this. They weren't popular for this. If anything, they were like shit on for this. They didn't have a good time. Like, how could you possibly be up your own ass? No way.
You could. You possibly were. But
you're up your own ass right now. It's your fucking stupid fucking rankings.
Always. What?
So go ahead.
What was that? What was that last thing you said?
It was your stupid fucking rankings. The next one's going to be their self-titled. And then it's going to be probably Loaded, and then it's going to be Squeeze is your favorite because you're a corporate shill now.
Yeah, so my number 3 is actually Squeeze, their 5th record, their last record. Like you said, that this is the one that it was Doug Yule all the way through. Should have been a solo record or another band. Also, their manager was kind of a dumb shit and really shady and completely abandoned the band in Europe, and they had to find their way back. Like that whole like time, like 1 year right there was just like a giant shit show. And Doug Yule got he got the shit end of the stick a lot, honestly. Like, I don't know. It's annoying. It's really annoying because he's a lot more talented than I feel like people give him credit for. And this record's really good. I thought this was a really good record. I wouldn't get it on vinyls, but I do like this record. I think it's good. But yeah, it's more blues rock than anything. And at times it kind of like is like, okay, I feel like I've heard this song before. I've heard this part before. But the one song I really liked was the last song, Luis. It's kind of like the upbeat, it's a more upbeat song. There's some really good harms that he does with himself, like overdubs. And one thing I really think is super great about this band, or at least the Doug Yule era, is the use of the stereo. Like they did it so well. I mean, I was really, really impressed by it. And this song in particular, just a lot of cool guitar leads on that song to accompany his vocal harmonies. It was a good song. Overall, it's a good record, but not quite good enough for me to get on vinyls, unless it was like $5. But yeah, other than that, it's good. So that's my number 3 is Squeeze.
Damn. Geez.
So what do you got for number 2?
Number 2 is White Light, White Heat. I actually, I got a copy of this also in a Grateful Dead lot that I bought. And I got their self-titled, White Light, and then Loaded. White Light didn't have a cover, as did not Loaded, and they're all squeezed into the self-titled. But the White Light was an original. It was an OG pressing, clean stuff. And then local record store had another copy of it. He was selling for like $40, and then I essentially just traded him. I said, here's a more expensive copy of what I want, but because there's no cover on it, I would rather just have the cover. I don't care too much about that. So it was like an even trade. So that was cool. I enjoyed that. So I have this also. But White Light, White Heat, this is the one I listened to first. No, sorry, I listened to the Velvet Underground first because I thought that would have been their first album. I was like, oh, this is probably like the first one before the Nico one came out. I didn't realize that was their first one. But White Light, White Heat,
completely out of order.
Banger of an album. because I was like sifting through Grateful Dead stuff, and I was like, oh, what the fuck, Velvet Underground. I said, hey, let me put this on, and then while I'm putting it on, I'm gonna look up how much it's worth, and it was worth a lot. But dude, it's a cool record. It's not afraid to do it all. There's some like real tranquil jams, like Here She Comes Now. There's like some really aggressive tones and speech patterns. That's why I thought you would like this one the most. It's just the most aggressive thing that they've done. There's times where they're doing like a back and forth vocal thing. And when one of them comes in, it's like louder and almost blown out sounding than the previous person that's singing it. And it's just, it's ambitious. It's an ambitious record, and it was so incredibly unique in its sound and approach. And nothing sounded like this at the time. 1968, are you fucking kidding me? America was still like coming all over the fucking Beatles, Sgt. Peppers, and the Frisco sound that started developing itself. Like, dude, that's all America was folk and psychedelic. And these guys come out and make something so loud, so obnoxious sounding, and everybody hated it. But of course, like Rolling Stone later, upon further inspection, I now see that this album is a 10 out of 10. Fucking cucks, dude.
Yeah, that magazine is shit.
It was like everybody, though. It was like everybody. Fuck them all.
Yeah,
but
everything is like retrospect. Let's give everything a perfect score from Velvet Underground, except for the last record.
That's why I think as like a corporation, Velvet Underground has gone on to be full of themselves and up their ass. But when this was released, no way. But my favorite song is the last song, Sister Ray. It's 17 minutes long.
Fucking guy.
And it is a fucking beautiful mess. It pushes the envelope regarding like subject matter, and it broke ground with this wacky, avant-garde, pre-punk rock sound. It was recorded in one take in the studio, and they all agreed. They said, if we fuck up, this is it. It's fine. We've practiced it before. Let's just do it once. I want a good, clean, organic sound. Even though that term has now grown to be kind of gross sounding anyway, but that's what this was. It was the first take, best take type of thing. But to put a 17-minute song from a bunch of guys that, not all of them, but they're not like great at their instruments, and accept the fact that if we fuck up, it's going to be on the record. So if you fuck up, try and fix it. And so and like live versions of this were known to last up to 30 minutes just because they just enjoy drawing things out and just playing and just being there and engaging with each other and doing little tricks and stuff here. If that's not like the definition of psychedelic rock, like, I don't know what is.
It is. I would agree with you on that.
Fuck me, this album was good.
It's not like,
wow.
Like, I understand kind of what they were going for, but I don't feel like it was executed that well. I don't know, man. I don't get it.
You
tried.
clearly don't
really
get it.
Tried.
Like, you seriously do not understand like anything
and the thing is,
in life.
And the
like,
thing
your
is,
brain is now poopified.
I thought up until yesterday, I think it was, I thought we were doing their first record until I verified with you that we're actually doing their third. And then I found out that we're actually doing their third. So I had already listened to their first record 3 times. And yeah, so I mean, it's not like I just listened to it once and I wrote it off. Like I tried. I really tried with that first record.
I think it's hard to separate the band at this time from, I guess, like the legacy that they would become in the later years. Because that's annoying. The legacy they would become in later years is annoying. The band at this time was pure.
Yeah.
Very, very pure.
So that was your number 2, correct? Okay. So my number 2 is Loaded, 4th record. This one was really good. I would get this one on vinyls. This is a good extension of, I'd say it's a good extension of the 3rd record, but this is like the B-sides. This is like the stuff that they just scratch tracks or shit like that. It's still really good. It's still very well produced, but it doesn't have quite the charm and the kind of what am I trying to say? The ups and downs that the self-titled one does, their 3rd record.
Yeah,
I still really liked it. It's a solid record. It's solid record. I have 2 favorites. I have 2 bangers off this one, and they follow one after the other. And I like it so much because both songs are so different. And that's Lonesome Cowboy Bill and I Found a Reason, two wildly different songs, and to put the upbeat country sounding Lonesome Cowboy but like first, and it's a really really good country song, and then you get into I Found a Reason, which is so slow and just there's a lot of cool studio experimentation, like with the especially with the stereo. Like I'm gonna compliment the stereo aspect of their record so much because fuck, they did it so well, especially on this record and the self-titled. But yeah, I think this record's great. I think those two songs are so good. Just the difference in styles in the two songs I thought was really cool, and putting them right next to like each other like that was cool. It was really really cool. So that's my number 2 is Loaded. Yeah, that's it. So
Damn.
I guess our favorite record is the same.
That's good. At least you have that.
Yeah, at least I have that.
Damn.
So yeah, if you didn't know, it's fucking the self-titled third record. So listen to the main episode where we actually break it down and we really get into it. While you're doing that, go to Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. And yeah, go listen. So that's it. That's all.